Hey guys, Jen here. Wow, that took like forever to get it to work. Sorry about that. I don't know what was up with it. I apologize. Let me fix a couple of things real quick here. I'm going to bring something up, but it's something we're going to look at more in the next video. But first, I want to show you something. Okay, so if you followed the channel for any amount of time, or if you followed the original channel, Bury and I've talked about some of my dreams. Now, it's not like a dream channel. That's not what this is about. It's a testimonial channel, it's a witnessing channel, and this is kind of how I live out my service because I don't drive and I can't reach others so easily. So I feel like the most valuable currency we have while we're here is our time, and I try to serve people that are willing to listen with my time. Giving these messages, insights, and just overall my testimonial that, God is here and He is working. And I firmly believe we are in the end of an age. I don't, end times, end days, but end of an age. Nothing is ever over forever. Everything changes continuously. Love and truth are forever. So those things are good. God is forever. And we can be too. So the title is a working title. So I want to point you to another smaller channel. I don't know how small our channel is actually. If you followed the channel, you know that I started talking about the dreams that I had related to these times, probably around 2015 or 16, the flooding dreams started. And then stadium dreams, 2 or 3 of those. And then the earthquake dream. Now I had another one yesterday. Now it was only one time, right? But I lucid dream, and I'll tell you about it in a minute. But first, I want to focus on what you're seeing on the screen. We are seeing flooding all over, allegedly, according to the news. I don't know where you're at, what you're seeing. I know my front yard is flooded, and now it's all frozen, which is lovely. But so many other people have it so much worse, and people are passing away because we already had issues over in the Appalachians. We have flooding on the East Coast, on the West Coast, and so I would tell you to expect more of that in cities like Pittsburgh and Atlanta for some reason. And I'm focused on the East Coast because I'm in the East Coast, but I'm going to point you to another channel. I saw, it was crazy. She made a post. She is a dream channel. That's pretty much all she speaks of is giving glory to God and witnessing of her dreams and visions. And she made a post about dreaming about stadiums. And I had that very wild dream about my dad in a stadium. Now, I don't want to go over every dream I had again, right? I don't want this to be too long. I want it to be accessible to people who maybe just want to see if it matches anything else they've heard or seen or have dreamt about themselves. Because I know one thing for sure, if you do some searches in the YouTube header, there are a lot of us regular small town people talking about God talking to us and working in our lives. And I don't want to say through us because I don't know. It just sounds arrogant to me. I don't want to presume that. I'll just say God is warning us that we are in some tumultuous times, and He is warning us because we are loved. And the earth does go through cycles, but at the same time, our behaviors can add to that and make that worse, quite obviously. But I'm not here to chastise. I'm here to bring you a message. And I don't write things down eloquently and flowery anymore. In my own journal, I will and do. If God impresses upon me to bring it to you that way, I will. But I'm not going to write that way just because and say like I'm some prophet or time is short, and I want, again, whoever comes across the channel to be able to understand what I'm saying. So yeah, and I make reference, it's kind of an inside thing. When people have evangelized me, they're like, but we have prophets, and they write just like the old prophets, and I'm like, it just, I don't know. Anyways, so the flooding dreams are being confirmed. So the other gal who does have an entirely dream channel is Kim Fisher. I don't tag people anymore because, again, when I give people attention, sometimes that can go the wrong way. So I try not to tag people. I understand. Like, I've seen people like straight up block me once I do that, or if I share their. So I try not to do that a lot, unless I know they're totally not connected to me. You know what I mean? I'm just sharing a video of somebody who has a decent theory. Anyways, there are these other ministry channels, and I'm not saying they're good or bad or anything like that, but in this time, it's not really so much about throwing money at problems and donations and watching Israel the way they're watching Israel. And I don't mean any disrespect. I'm not saying we're not supposed to watch, but God is working, and he's speaking through all of us, and we are the remnant. And I'm going to talk about that probably tomorrow, because that is a word God is kind of marinating in my heart. But please understand that there's only a remnant left now. And that might be shocking to some people, but it's true. So I had another dream, and I wasn't even going to share it with you because I thought it was personally related to me and my subconscious fears, things that have happened in my life. And then I realized there were some really other wild, funky aspects to this really quick segment of this dream. Now, just so you're not bored, I'm going to bring you to something else that we're going to look at next. But I'm just going to show you a little bit of it because I don't want you to look at it yet, okay? But I just, again, it's to show you the times that we are in, okay? It's to highlight where we are right now. Okay. So I had another dream. So first I dreamt about cities on the coastline, cities inland on the East Coast here flooding, and areas that don't normally flood, and mud and all this stuff. Multiple times, like rapids in mud. I'm talking about like we were in a boat coming down the side of a mountain. And it's just like the news clips I'm seeing from Appalachia. So the dream I had, again, I wasn't even going to tell you guys about it, but the past couple days, I keep seeing like these numbers everywhere, and it's 911, like what we call for dispatch, right? And the day that we'll live on, we will never forget, right? So in my dreams, somebody is always after me. There's always been a boogeyman. He's always been after me. I suspect that's true in some way, some shape, some form. It seems to be attached to my family or whatever. And that's all I'm going to say about that for right now. So as dreams are, it was made known to me like that somebody was after me. Now, please understand, in my dreams, I'm everything's in color all the time. I'm an observer. I'm like seeing it from like above, like, what do you call that, third person? But I'm also like first person too. It's very strange, but that's just how these ones operate. I think it's so that I can see from every perspective. And so that's another way when I know like it's something important that I'm supposed to pay attention to and possibly bring to people. So this person was after me. And in my mind, subconsciously, I'm thinking that it is the father or the uncle of this female that has been with my, person or whatever. And when this person finally catches up with me, I open the door and I look down, and it's like I can't stop what's happening because I knew it was going to happen, but I couldn't stop it because like I was watching it happen to me, but it was also me. Again, very weird. But I couldn't see myself. This is very important. I look down and I see that he has a garbage bag, and I'm like, no, 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 don't. You don't have to do this. Tell so and so. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know no so and so. He's like, I'm so sorry for this, but it has to be done or something like that. And he pews me in the stomach. Now, when I look down, it's not my body. I'm in like a white linen shirt, like present day shirt. I want to make sure that's clear. I'm in like a white linen shirt. I'm a man with like darker skin and some type of like utility watch on the left hand. And I collapse there in this doorway. Now, here's where it gets strange because real life is one of the ways you can know you're dreaming. One of the myths is that you cannot read in a dream. Like you'll never be able to read if you see letters or a sign, you're not going to be able to make it out, and it'll be jumbled. And so, and another thing is people always talk about how they never dream of cell phones, which is weird because they use them all day long. I don't either. Now I have dreamt of like futuristic invisible screens in front of me because when the dreams first started, like when I first start getting a series of dreams, that's how they start, is like a interruption in my little dream universe because I'm always quote unquote God in my dreams. It's my mind and I control everything and it's pretty lucid or whatever. But when these ones happen, it's like a series and it'll start with like a news interruption. And that's how I know like, uh-oh, something's like, here comes something else, like it ebbs and flows, right? So anyway, people talk about how they never have cell phones in their dreams and you can't read. And so oddly enough, I reach down into my pocket, I pull out a cell phone, but I can't read any of it. But I do know for whatever reason that I'm like an Indian man. I'm like in India, right? Um, that's all I know. I don't know anything else. And as I'm looking at the phone, I'm trying to remember. And I woke up shouting and with the picture in my mind of 911. And I wasn't going to say anything about it. I was like, well, that when I wake up like that, that's me lucidly trying to wake myself up because I want to get out of that unpleasant situation. It's a trick I taught myself a long time ago. Like I'll just scream as loud as I can, and for whatever reason, it translates into real life and it wakes me up. Um, Dreams are something I'm just it's what I built my science project around years ago. It's just something that have always fascinated me because they've always been wild for me. And they always feel like all the flooding dreams, it's like I'm always looking for somebody really important to me, like a group of people, and I never catch up to them again. And it's frustrating. And then you wake up and it's like, that's not even your life. So it's weird. But I'm an Indian man. That's really important, and I'm not sure why. But the 911 is like a message. It was made known to like for me to understand that like time is short, like, and it's a double entendre. It's a double innuendo. Time is short, and I believe our next area of issue is going to be that service. I don't want to say too much because again, it's a dream, right? I'm telling you the dream that I had. I don't know anyone that works for dispatch or anything like that. But we're seeing all these things happen with planes, and we know that they want to institute AI and they're getting rid of old records, which, by the way, that one headline about them records being underground, that's a coded message. That doesn't have anything to do with what they're saying it does. That's one of those, if it doesn't make sense, it does make sense to somebody else, and that, it's a coded message. So the flooding dreams are being confirmed, the quake dream. for the East Coast is on its way, possibly. And I think that's going to happen just from the land settling. Like Pittsburgh's problem is going to be flooding and sinkholes. We are always having sinkholes over there, but it's going to be like another mud flood on the coasts. Like that's just what it's going to be. And please remember, mud isn't always just mud. Sewage will not operate properly. This is where the dis-ease and things like that come into play. That's where the population decimation will happen. Is lack of basic everyday things that we're used to having and we won't have access to. So learn about basic caretaking of your daily hygiene. If you were like a pioneer, what would you do? And you know the old saying, it's a smart dog if it don't poop where it eats. You have to be the same. For example, you don't want to dig a latrine near where you're growing food. And again, I'm just being very basic here, but the 911 was made known to me that that's a double message. And also, the water. Wormwood is an issue. They just haven't said it yet. Um, I've been showing you my water bottle and my filter the last few videos for a reason. I'm not a doctor. None of this is medical advice. Seek the advice of your chosen professional. All of my disclaimers are always in the description box. This is a testimonial channel about my life. Nobody else has consent to use it for their, whatever. Now, why am I showing you this? I want to show you the times that we are in. I didn't know this existed, but this is like a whole new rabbit hole. I shared a post on the community tab, which I hate the way they renovated that. Used to be you could just go there on your own if you wanted to, and that's why I kind of like started cataloging certain things, and I would put like videos in the comments and stuff, and now I'm afraid to even post it because they keep showing up everywhere. So it is what it is. I apologize on behalf of YouTube. So this dude, he himself is his own rabbit hole, but 18 meter, that's 60 feet in case you didn't know. The largest sculpture from the Wreck of the Unbelievable series. Now Wreck because, and I'm going to try and yeah. I don't know if do I go up or down to get rid of that? Anyway, it's art. But it's a sea. You see, he's coming out of the sea. You see the mollusks. You see the coral. The title of this is Demon with Bull. Now he's coming out of the sea, and we know the marine spirits live in the sea. We've talked about this at length. We also know that is one of the only ways to kill them is to behead them. And we also know Osiris, for example, was beheaded. So notice the dates. Now, this is from 2014 is when he actually created this monstrosity, demon with bull, like bulls of wrath. I thought it was his skull, but whatever. He's the artist. He would know. The resin version of Damien Hirst's Demon with Bull 2014 on view at the Palazzo Grassi in Venice. Travelers on London's river-spanning cable car, the few there are, might soon find their journeys overshadowed by an enormous headless demon, courtesy of Damien Hirst, the property developer. Now check this out. That's another rabbit hole. Night Dragon, and their emblem is the lion and the unicorn. And one of my dad's beer steins has that, and underneath it has like H with letter or numbers. And the lore on my family, like I could sit here and probably make up my own lore to go along with all the connections that there are to this stuff because of the France connection. Okay, Demon with Bull. Now, it's on site by the Thames. Like, so it's a public area, right? This is like a bike trail. It's the equivalent of a bike trail by the river. So this is children and parks and parents and nannies and workers and cyclists and everybody. But we know if this was Christ, they wouldn't stand for it. Now, the other thing they said is that this is the 6th in a series, which, again, you have the 6th. Um, It's part of his Treasures from the Wreck of the Unbelievable series and was first presented in the court of Palazzo Grassi during the 2017 edition of the Venice Biennale. Now, when I was watching that video earlier, I found out about it. I saved a comment. So let me pull out my phone because I want to read this to you about what somebody who knew this guy, who is familiar with this artist, about what he said. Hold, please. Okay, it says, Hurst grew up in Leeds. He studied in London, and in old magic, demons can reside in solid statues. It's not there to put a smile on the locals. It's lesser magic, but just as dangerous as a knife to someone's neck. End quote. From the user at dmdm.org. So, in a nutshell, that is the artist who did this. Now, we are seeing these monstrosities go up everywhere in the US, in London. Oh, that's another one. Oh my God. Does that have a sword? And it actually looks Hydra and Kali. No kidding. I want to see it. Oh, wow. Dude, that looks wicked. Like, it looks real. It really does. I can't even lie. Look at all their arms. And there's Hydra. Hydra is a many-headed, well, it's supposed to be a three-headed dragon, I thought, but this looks more like a serpent. Giant parasite. And there she is trying to kill it. So you have to understand, even though they're fallen angels, and some of us would call them angel or fallen angels now and demons, they went on to have families and procreate with humans, and they have free will just like us apparently, and we're allowed to make a choice, and that's what they chose. But some of them fight against Satan even here because they don't want to see this place destroyed. So it's a very complex problem that we are in the middle of. That's why I say go to the tippy top, go to the main god, and just ask him to sort it for you. And lesser magic or not, it won't affect you as long as you are prayed up and you are walking straight, right? You're not messing up. You see this here sticking out? Is that a nod to gemstones? Because that looks like, what is that called? Not topaz, the fire one. Cerulean? Is that how you say it? I don't know if I'm correct on that. Wow, I actually want to see that. That's wicked. All right, so what we're going to do, they're part of Public Sculpture Trail, The Line. Can I click on that or will it take me? See, that's what he looks like. Like he's got claws and everything if you like zoom in on him. Oh, so he did. Wow. That's weird. The face looks like Tom Hanks. That's funny. Bizarre. Oh my gosh, it's almost his own face. Did he use his own face? Is that Julius Caesar? Is it Julius Caesar? We know they are quote unquote immortal. Bizarre, man. Okay, so we're going to look into some of this, all of the sculptures that are being put up all over. But we're going to segue into something kind of fun. I'm looking into something and I'm seeing connections again in like different movies and different shows and books that are like separated by many, many years. I'll give you a teaser. For example, I noticed that there is a room in Severance. It is, I forget what they actually call it, but it's like a meadow in the building, okay? And it's like sheep herders and the whole bit. It looks exactly like the 2004 Willy Wonka room. They have a room in there that I just saw today. And that is a wild connection. And then if you watch Severance, the office building, it looks a lot like the same one from Florida where I think it was called Home or Going Home or Back Home with Julia Roberts. And we talked about that one and dissected that from Prime that had a lot of weird things too. Like the people with the masks wore the masks because they were drugging the food in that show. So, anyways, I'm gonna bounce just so that this video is user friendly. But we're going to get into a couple neat topics just because I don't dwell in politics. And again, I think a lot of things are bubbling to the surface, and if you want to know the truth, now is a good time to go looking for it because it's being exposed. All right, so be on your and don't be on your guard, but be observant, and be aware of your surroundings. Have proper situational awareness. I notice as a group, people are not doing well in this area. You can tell just by comment sections how many people are asleep in that video that I shared about this statue. It's sad. Or actually, in the video itself, the comments weren't too bad. But we are the remnant, and there aren't many left at this point. And if you're here just for the high strangeness, remember that everything highly strange that's happening behind the scenes is happening by an intelligent designer who has love for us. But we do have an enemy, and to think that we do not is folly. Have a blessed night. Watch out for those numbers. I saw them a lot today, which is why I knew I had to make the video, and I get that sick feeling in my stomach because I don't actually want to do it, but I know I have to. All right, guys, sleep well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Thank you for listening and giving me some of your time. Have a good night.